My name is Dominic Moore-Dunson, and I am a dancer and choreographer here in Akron. I grew up on Akron's east side in Joy Park, and I grew up during the 90s, and that period of time was kind of the explosion of black gang violence during that time, and I went to Robinson Academy, and I had this really interesting life where inside of my home, I was kind of raised with this global mindset because my mom was from the Air Force. I was actually born in San Antonio, Texas, and outside of my home was a bit different in terms of people's understanding of themselves inside of the world. So I grew up with this kind of global mindset that's taken me from where I was in East Akron to being a choreographer who's now won the Cleveland Arts Prize, which is one of the biggest prizes in Northeast Ohio. There was a moment at Miller South where me and the 6 other black boys in our grade at the time, it was 6th grade, we were sitting at the lunchroom table and we were kind of bantering back and forth about what we wanted to be when we grew up. And because we were black and we were young, everybody either wanted to play football in the NFL or play basketball in the NBA, and we were kind of talking about this stuff. And at one point I kind of chirped up and said that, well, I want to dance in Paris, but I want to play soccer in England. And the table got dead silent. And then one of our friends said, that's not black. And then everyone started laughing. And it was this moment in my life where I realized that my skin color and what I was allowed to do or capable of doing in my life were somehow connected in a way that was very counter to what I had learned growing up. You know, as black males, we're only allowed to be ballers, rappers, or thugs, which is a super small pool of employment. So I decided to create a show, and the show's called The Black Card Project. And the crux of the show, or the mission of the show, is to create conversation around the narrowness of the scope of black identity as it relates to economic development in the black community. So what we're trying to do is talk to black community members, black citizens, about how do we identify blackness? Are we narrowing it so much that it's actually bringing down or kind of limiting what we can do economically for our own families and for our community? The show is about a young homeschooled black boy named R.D. Alvin Beatty III. His mother's really concerned about his lack of awareness of his cultural identity. So she sends him to a urban downtown school called Booker T. Malcolm Luther Parks Academy of Absolute Blackness. In a single school day, he has to pass all these classes in order to earn his black card. And it's a comedy. And we look at it from a very satire lens about what would it be like if you had to go to school to learn how to be black. Because for a lot of people, for me included, I felt like that's what I was going through, that every time something happened, I was like learning another lesson about blackness that I didn't realize I was supposed to know. But we just really want to talk to communities about this idea, this heart issue called identity, and how does this heart issue end up affecting what's in your bank account? Because I think they're more connected than we like to think about them. Economic development is not something that we usually think of when we think of the arts. And for me, I think they go together so clearly that there's not as big a divide as we all think there is, either from the art side or from the economic development side. I think there is a common goal for both. The arts often is looking to uplift the people around it. It's looking to serve people in such a way where the foundations of who they are can be healed and grow. Economic development, from mostly a financial side, is doing the same thing. They're trying to help people with a financial foundation so they can help grow wealth in their families. So we're actually doing a lot of the same things.